What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Wilder video. Now let me give you a very huge disclaimer. For the 5 loyal viewers and subscribers that view my content, please do not witch hunt the devs. Please do not go after them. This is just basically to explain my points and answering a lot of the points that HellsDevil and Chief and Estrema have been making on the podcast. This is just to kind of shine light on the issues that they kind of provided and kind of as well show a bit of solutions to each one of them. These are basically my points. This is my opinion. This does not have to be the absolute of an answer to anything. Take it with a grain of salt and enjoy the video. Another disclaimer, I'm not even reading a script. I'm just listening to the video at the point that I'm answering the questions. So here we go.
Okay, so matchmaking, they're still testing out a lot. Obviously, they even said it like, yeah, we're testing this and that, see how this goes and how that goes. But like personally, I really think like they need to do better. They need to do better on the matchmaking. Like, come on, the way that it's right now, it's not horrible, but it's like if you look at it objectively, right? 2 challenger players with 3 emerald players. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but is this something that should ever happen? Or a lobby where you get like, you're a diamond lobby, you get a random gold player who just completely ruins the game, makes people toxic because they're gonna trash talk the gold player. The gold player is gonna be like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Just the game experience gets ruined. Definitely. Same goes for, the quality of the games is just lower. Like currently I am Grandmaster and the quality is pretty good, but sometimes I just get into these games where I'm like, what's happening? Why am I against the first time Platinum 4 Irelia? Like, why does that happen? I don't really understand why that is even a thing in the game right now. So sure, they're testing out stuff, but it's horrible. It's horrible.
It really has to be worked around. Maybe only doing solo queue only lobbies. I don't know, at that certain elo.
So as for the matchmaking issue, there is supposedly no balance, which I agree to an extent. Now let me tell you why. Now the point that was proposed was 2 challenger players with 3 emerald players. This is obviously a hypothetical position to be in. Now, let me tell you this. We're in the Middle Eastern server. I'm talking about myself right now. We're in the Middle Eastern server. We don't get that many people to play anyway. And the thing is, what is exactly to blame? It's not exactly the matchmaking that you're supposed to be blaming. You're supposed to be blaming the main company for the way that they're marketing their game. They probably piggybacked over League, thought it was like, okay, it's Wild Rift. It's made out of, the main game, League of Legends. They didn't even want to do anything about the game. They didn't even want to market it properly. Maybe they did just one or two campaigns which were not even that strong and appealed to honestly nobody. And to be fair with you, I've reached Challenger and I find no games. There are no players. There's no player base within the game, which is why I do not mind having the lower elo players in my games just because I want to find the games. Okay, so about the solo queue and duo queue, about having the duo queue being a balance system and a trio queue being a balance system. In my opinion, it should stick to be like a duo queue. I don't believe in having trio queue in my opinion. I think it's a dumb idea. As far as it goes, it's either solo or duo just because we want more players to play and not have people abusing the system by using more players within a group to play, which is, again, 5-man queue. I don't understand why it exists. It never was a good idea. It was at one point allowed on PC and then they just made it like, okay, you know what? It's going to be flex queue for you guys. We're not going to allow 5-man queue in normal ranked. It's just going to be in flex queue. And flex queue, let's just say it how it is. It's supposed to be the fun, quote unquote, mode for the, ranked system. Now, as for the other point, as for the Grandmaster trio queue, I do agree that higher elo players should stick to either solo or duo queue. It never should be a point where you're supposed to be playing trio. And one more point. You have those smurfs in your game just because they can't find games in higher elo. I'm one of the culprits. I'm not even gonna deny it. I'm the issue in this game right now as well. I'm smurfing in Diamond right now just because I can't find any game in Challenger, and it's pointless for me to play in Challenger because I find no games. I've been decaying for the past week or so because I couldn't actually find any games. So as for the toxicity part, I do agree on it. The lower elo players should not be blamed. As I said again, they're just new to the game. It's driving people away just because they're going into a high skilled matchup. So let's say, as HellsDevil's said, there's a platinum player that is first timing Irelia in that game. It's not going to be fun for them because at the end of the day, okay, Irelia is not that hard to play, at least in my opinion, as I said. But the fact that if he's a platinum player and he's new to the game, assuming that it's not a smurf, he's not going to enjoy playing against a Grandmaster or a Challenger player. That's not balanced at all, and I do agree, but you have to take into perspective. The matchmaking, the way it is right now, is because nobody, and I mean nobody, plays the game. Not a lot of people. If you want to compare it to other MOBAs on mobile right now, nobody plays it. The game is dead. You're not going to find a game. That's the issue, is that nobody plays. The MMR system is broken, and it doesn't help you find games. So is there no balance in matchmaking? Yes. Do I want it to be fixed? Yes. How is it going to be fixed? Market the game. You're supposed to put a proper marketing campaign for the game and not piggyback over the game that you were successful on. Just because League of Legends was once a good game, and I'm saying once because right now the PC version is in absolute shambles in my opinion. Yeah, I believe they should be making a lot better in terms of advertising the game, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any new players. I don't see anyone that's interested in playing the game right now, and nobody's supporting the content creators with it. Like, people are making content about it, but let's face it, like the best video you can ever find around Wild Rift, which is average, I'm talking about average views, it's gonna be like around like 20 to 30k, even 50k. Like other YouTubers are gonna be like 100k, 200k, 300k even.
And that really needs to be fixed. They need to bring back like maybe little longer queue times, just a little longer, and not make it that much of a difference, because now you can match against a wide range of players. Queue times are fast. They should probably tune that back or change that. And the LP gains, they need to change that. They need to have some reassurance in the game, in my opinion, that hey, you're doing good, keep winning, or your MMRs is coming up, blah blah blah, so the people at least know what's happening behind the scenes with their MMR. I think those two things are the most important. And then of course the 5-man queue, but we talked about that already.
Like they have solo queue, duo queue, trio queue, 5 queue. Why don't you try with like start with the foundation of solo queue, and then if it works fine, you got it fine for solo queue, you will add duo queue, okay? And then if you balance it well, you can try to add the trio queue. 5 queue, let's leave it out. I don't think it's ever gonna work. I mean, there's a reason it's not working like on League of Legends as well.
No, Astream has actually a good point of having the foundation of introduce solo queue, then duo queue, then trio queue. I do believe it's a good idea, and they just need to remove a 5-man queue, because 5-man queue, you're not going to help the game. You don't have a lot of players for you to introduce the fact that you can play 5-man. Trio queue as far as it goes, yes, but nothing beyond that. 4-man, 5-man, it should not happen. But I don't agree with one of the points, which is same LP gains and then longer queue or same MMR system. I'm not agreeing with that for a lot of reasons. Now, if you're playing in the Middle East, you'd understand that there are not a lot of players that are playing in our server. And this is the issue, bro. Like, there is no marketing campaign that is going on for the game to make people play. And there's no incentive for anyone to play the game properly. There is no incentive for people to come to the game because there are a lot of other mobile games that came out and they have the players. Now, here's the thing. These players are not aware of Wild Rift, or maybe they are, but they never saw something that would intrigue their interest or pique their interest and get them into the game. Now, here's the thing. I know it's frustrating to gain plus 12 and then lose 18. I've been in your shoes, brother. Don't worry about it. I've been there. I know how it feels, and I do agree with you. But having longer queue times for that, I do not agree. Have the MMR system fixed, yes, and have the LP system fixed, yes, but not longer queue times. I've already struggled through the longer queue times before. The screenshot was on the screen earlier. You're supposed to see it. I've been through 71 minutes and even longer queue times. And I even asked the player support to help me with it, and they didn't. Let me be clear. The absolute last word should remain to Riot. However, we should be able to give the input towards the community. If we are able to enhance or better the game in a way by giving our word, it will help the longevity of the game and the lifespan of it. If you have a player support, I've reported many people AFKing and all that kind of stuff, and it's really frustrating because AFK people are like, yeah, I'm gonna go AFK, but the maximum of it is just I'm gonna be punished for like 10 minutes of no queuing in ranked or something like that. Like, they know there's no consequences of it. So people see that kind of shit, and then they go back and they're like, okay, why am I playing a game where even the main developers are not even caring about the integrity of the matchmaking? There's not much you can do about someone AFKing in your game other than trying your best. And then when you try your best and lose, it just feels horrible. You don't enjoy the game. You're not enjoying the game. You're not enjoying any factor of the game. And if you ever try to report somebody through the tickets, they're just going to shoo you away. I'm not saying it in a rude way, like, okay, yeah, you're being shooed away and stuff like that, but they're telling us use the in-game report system. All right, I've used it. It definitely does not work because I still see them in my games. They're not being punished. They went AFK. They still went for the other games. I don't see them being punished for anything. I'm not motivated to play the game unless that guy logs off or something. I don't want to have the AFK in my team. So basically, that's another factor that's shooing people away, is because you don't punish the people that are ruining the game, but instead for those who flame, and this is, I know this personally because I've heard from so many people, they flamed the guy that AFK'd, they got reported, and then they got muted for a day, a two-day mute, or like a 3-day mute. It's just stupid. You AFK, you don't get punished. But oh lord, if you flame the guy that's AFK'd, you're probably gonna be like punished even worse than that guy. So I don't know how you balance that out. I don't know how Riot is even thinking about that, but they need to fix that. Yeah, and Riot, please get back to releasing 2 champions at the very least. 1 champion is not enough at this point. Every time I try to play a ranked game and I want to pick set, he's just banned either on the enemy team or my team just bans him, regardless of where first pick or second pick. But yeah, 1 champion per month is just not going to cut it. The karma system is absolutely great, and I agree with it. Now, the reason being is because a lot of the players that go into the game, and I'll be honest with you, toxicity, in my opinion, is the least of my concerns. I don't care if somebody's talking to me. Probably other people are going to care about what they say to them. AFKs for me in this region is abnormal. If you see the last 3 or 4 games, and this is why I'm taking a break from Waldorf, by the way. If you see the last 3 or 4 games that I played, every single one of them had at least 1, and 2 of the games had 2 AFKs. I never understood the fact that if you lose a lane straight up from the 2nd minute or the 3rd minute, you just go AFK. If you're not competitive, stay out of the game. That's the whole point. Now, here's the thing. I do agree, the karma system is amazing, and I wish it could be implemented, but I think it would limit what you can communicate to the teammates that you have. So that could propose a problem of communication with your teammates. However, it is a good system to avoid people flaming each other. Now, as I said, the main issue for me right now is people AFKing in my games. And this is on my Smurf. I'm not even talking about my main, this is on my Smurf. So the main issue is AFKing. Punish those and they're going to stop AFKing as well. And for the toxicity part, the karma system, amazing. I agree with it. 100% should be implemented. Another amazing point that is actually brought up in the podcast is that content creators are underappreciated. There's not enough support for those people. Like, the game is bigger than what the content creators are by like a large margin, and it shouldn't be that way for a lot of the Twitch and YouTube streamers. But then again, you can show appreciation towards those content creators by allowing them to give you feedback on certain champions and game implementations that you provide, given that you're providing something like an item or something around the map or an extra terrain that you're adding into the game, extra, let's say, objective or monster that you're adding into the game. Now, this should be tested by somebody that actually plays the game and puts hours upon hours into the game playing it. Because let's face it, when Riven was first released, the developers didn't know about the bug where you can cast your first skill 7 times. The players did, and they abused it. And they didn't know about the bug where if you cast Aurelia's E quickly, like really quickly, to the point that it gets cancelled out, like it doesn't even show that you casted it.
If a dev comes into the stream, okay, after this patch or whatever, dude, the chat is gonna stomp him. Doesn't matter
that's
how.
Actually true. Yeah.
Doesn't matter, and of course he doesn't like to come back. Like, I understand like what he doesn't, dude. Like, he had it on Twitter already. They're gonna stomp him in a live chat, and yeah, that's like hard to say. Of course, it would be really awesome to get them. I'm still for the transparency thing, and having a closed group with content creators is an amazing idea.
Very good point by your stream, actually, because if you think about it, if a dev actually showed up to the stream, regardless of whether within the call or in the chat, and I'm saying worst comes to worst in the chat, then they're not really going to be enjoying the time they're in the chat, because they're just going to be bombarded by people that are actually angry about the state of the game, and then they're not going to be taking any constructive criticism. Rather, they're just going to be flaming them, and the dev is just going to run out and then like not come back because they're not taking anything of value in that stream. Now, what could be potentially beneficial is that have the developer within the podcast or the stream itself communicate directly with the streamers, and have the chat also drop their inputs, so they could probably brainstorm some ideas to fix the game. And then once they all agree upon something, then they could just probably implement that fix into the game. As I said, this was a one-take kind of video. This isn't exactly a script that I'm reading off. This is basically the ideas that I had in my head. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure this video reaches HellsDevil. Make sure to leave a comment with what the most thing that you want to be fixed. I've heard from the 2 people that I made a community post, which honestly speaking, I didn't expect anyone to respond. I just wanted to see if anyone will actually respond. But the 2 people that responded were talking about toxicity as a main point, which they were agreeing with the people in the video, which I see as a potential issue. But then again, the main issue in my eyes is the fact that the game is not marketed enough or advertised enough for people to be in there. And the solutions provided in the podcast are good solutions if we had the player base for them. So again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, make sure this video reaches HellsDevil, and I'll see you guys in the next one.